nobody put a gun to my head and made me do that, run around selling drugs and shit like that, right? But I blamed everything. I blamed, the society. I blamed my upbringing. I blamed everything at the time. Nothing was my fault. Travis, how you doing, man?
Oh, fantastic, bro. Just watching you online.
Oh yeah,
Where are you located?
I'm in Kelowna,
Oh, wow. Okay.
BC. Yeah, up in Canada.
Yeah, so you guys are 2 hours difference? Is that
Yeah,
right?
it's 9 a.m. here.
Oh, just 1 hour. Okay. Yeah, yeah, we're mountain. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
You been there your whole life?
No, I've been here. This is 6 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I moved down here after I was released.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I actually I got banned from Fort St. John. So I was no longer welcome to go back there. So
No kidding. That's a fun
mhm.
story, I bet.
Yeah, 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 kind of. It was a learning experience to say the least.
That's the truth, ain't it?
Yeah.
Man, that's cool. Fantastic. What keeps you busiest most days? Is it the fitness, the consulting? What are you moving on these times?
Well, the fitness right now, I've been moving full time into that. It's, it's what saved my life and changed everything. So it's my passion. I mean, my personal development journey allowed me to create my service company. I didn't know shit about business, but as I dropped all the vices and got rid of all that shit and was able to clear my mind, yeah. And then once, fuck, I think it was 3 years had gone by and I had this company, I had all these employees, and I was like, holy shit. And
What have I
so then
done?
yeah, right. And then I reached out to my mentor and was like, man, like I need to teach people how to do this. Like this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. And then like I said, the service company served its part. It served its purpose. It, got me going. It did its thing, showed me what was possible. And then my heart just wasn't in it anymore. I wanted to show people how to do this. I wanted to help people stay away from the life that I got sucked into. So, yeah, I just went full bore into the fitness. I mean, I've always been into fitness and training. I just never did it properly. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that a lot of that fitness goes hand in hand, both good and bad, like with the former like addictive lifestyle?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. It's like, I don't believe that addiction is a disease at all. It's a choice that we make. So, I mean, choosing to channel my addictive behavior into something that's positive, I refer to them as like a symbiotic system, something that's beneficial in both ways. Like the drugs, the alcohol, the gang life, all that shit was temporary. You get a temporary satisfaction followed with like immediate regret. Whereas like the gym is twofold, it helps me build my body, but it also for my mindset and my mental state. Same with the food, the nutrition, my early morning routine, my journaling, my reading, affirmations, all that stuff.
Boy, I love what you said, especially the choice,
Yeah.
because and you can speak to it because you've got lived experience. When I often see people, strung out with a sign on the side of the freeway, like in a major city, right? A major city that's got good weather, a boatload of churches, resources. I'm not the first to rush to the like sympathy card. Like, if you, and I want you to speak to this because I can't, if you really want to get clean, if you really want to get the life you dreamed of, it's just on the other side of that choice. It's not on the other side of that stupid cardboard sign.
No, it never is. And it's, one of the things that my mentor used to say is like placating another man's weakness is the worst thing that you can do for him. You're basically just telling them that they can stay stuck, that they don't deserve better, that it's like some external circumstance or the outside world that has done this to you, when it's not. It's every choice that we've made has brought us to exactly where we are right now. Right. And I got tired of where I was and who I was. The drugs and everything were a cover up. The gang was, trying to find a place where I fit in because I didn't feel fit in wherever I was, right? You're trying to find that like acceptance and you
Yeah.
go to all the wrong places because it's easy, right? Really, you're just hurt and you're not happy with who you are or your current situation. So you cover it up, right? You escape from it. But once you face it and face reality, then you can change anything,
Yeah.
right? It's once we realize that we're the problem and the solution, anything's possible. Anything,
It's
right?
fantastic, man. Do you
Yeah.
feel that like a lot of these folks, when they come to you, hey, Kyle, I want to get fit. I want to get this. I want to get that. Do you find that they have like a similar unmotivating, like stuck point, or do you feel that it really is lack of knowledge?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, there's that adage of like, you can't make anybody wear the glasses, but once you see, you'll never be able to unsee, right? So it's like we can't force them to see from our perspective and point of view. They need to go through their own lessons and their own struggles. But I mean, like you say, I come from a place of being there. I've been on the other side. I've been an addict. I've been an alcoholic. I've done all of that stuff, right? And it didn't get me anywhere. I watched my friends die. I went to prison. Like it's not the movies, right? So you know, it's the lack of knowledge and the lack of awareness, right? We tend to cloud our own judgment, our own self with all of this bullshit, right? And I talk about it with them. It's always removal, right? Everybody's looking for like this hack or this thing to do or this like course or something to take and do that I can like that's gonna get me here. And it's like, bro, it's to get rid of all the bullshit. Get rid of the overeating, get rid of the vices, get rid of the smoking, get rid of the fucking sleeping in, like get rid of all of that shit. Then you get mental clarity and then you can see things for what they truly are. Right? All the opportunities that I missed, all the stuff that just passes you by in life, right? I did the same shit. I would, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? It happens for us, right? It's all happening for us, not to us. It's just our opinion of it. And when you're in that, you don't see it, right? So that's where like the accountability and the self-honesty, once you get rid of that opinion that the world has done this to you, your circumstances done this to you, your childhood, your parents, your job, whatever. Once you get rid of that and realize that it's you, then like I say, you take the power back, right? So many people give the power of their life away to this external shit, right? And then they have a reason to give up. Well, my childhood. Well, the place I was brought up in, the city I was brought up. It's bullshit, bro. It's bullshit.
Speaking of that, I agree with you. I grew up in a broken household. I grew up with a drug addict as a father. What was your childhood? What was your upbringing like?
Mine wasn't terrible. I mean, my father wasn't around, so that was, I think, where a lot of my looking for that external, sense of family, camaraderie, brotherhood with like the gang life. I think that's where that came in. But my parents separated at an early age, and he wasn't around not for lack of trying, but my mother moved to the other side of like the province, right? So seeing him and him having a part of our life was just not a thing, right? I think it was 10 years or something like that before I ended up seeing him, right? And establishing a relationship with him.
Wow.
And so, it was just my mother was an alcoholic at the beginning. I never seen nobody worked out, nobody worked on like their personal development, right? It was relaxing with beers, like all that kind of stuff, right? The typical kind of cliche culture that we live in. And I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I started looking for shit in the wrong areas, right? I started looking to fit in. I started looking for that, that sense of family and stuff that I felt that I wasn't getting, whether it was there or whether it was not. But
I
yeah,
love
and
that.
then and it was all choices that I made,
Yeah.
right? It was everything that I made. It's nobody put a gun to my head and made me do that, run around selling drugs and shit like that, right? But I blamed everything. I blamed, the society. I blamed my upbringing. I blamed everything at the time. Nothing was my fault. Right?
Yeah. And what was the first time with the run-in with the law? How old? What was it?
Oh, geez, I was probably like 18, something like that, 17 when I started getting in trouble, started stealing cars with my friends, started getting in high-speed chases, selling drugs, assaults. Yeah, lots of that stuff. And I think I was 19 the first time I went away. And then again in my, geez, I would have been in my 30s. So yeah, about 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And was both times 18, 19 in the 30s? What do you chalk it up to? Was it the addiction or was it the acceptance from the gang life or a little bit of both?
It was, I didn't, yeah, it was both. Like I was a fully functioning addict, right? So I held a full-time job while I was like, I did the pipeline for 11 years. I made really good money, but I chose to carry around guns and sell drugs and hang out with fucking gangsters. And, I just, that was what I thought was, we seen money, you seen like women, you seen the cars, you seen like the lifestyle, right? And that's the only way that I figured or imagined I was able to get it, right? Was I had no skill. I was kicked out of high school when I was in grade 10, right? I got into a fist fight with my vice principal, I believe. So they kicked me out of there. And, I had no skills. I had nothing, no education. So it was, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, I can make really good money selling drugs. I got this job on the side and yeah, I ran with it, and we thought we were invincible, right?
It
Until
always
it's
is that way, right? And then you get locked up and then all the homies disappear.
yeah, yeah. And then when I was, one of my friends had passed just before I went in, and when I was released the last time, it was 2 or 3 weeks after I got out. One of my best friends was shot, and it was just yeah, you start to like realize and wake up that this isn't a sustainable life. This isn't something that you can make last, right? Hiding your money in vents and shoe boxes and never really being able to buy shit, having no credit, like, you know.
Was it your friend getting shot that was kind of the turning point, or was there something inside of you that said this is not who Kyle was meant to be?
Yeah, it was a bit of both. It was that experience and myself, right? And just finally being honest with myself because after he had got murdered it was I continued to do the same lifestyle
Mm,
and yeah it was almost like well they'll never get me like that kind of shit it was yeah but it was a turning point in me. I have two kids as well, so when I was released I wasn't able to see them at all. And I mean, understandably, I wouldn't have wanted, in her position, I wouldn't have wanted somebody like that around my children at all either. So it was one of those days I was really high, I was strung out, and, I just looked myself in the mirror and was like, this ain't it, man. This ain't it. This isn't who you're supposed to be. This isn't working, right? This isn't, you make money, you do whatever, right? But you're just spinning your wheels. You're spinning your wheels. Like I had an ankle monitor on. I was priority one. I couldn't leave my house. I couldn't fly. I couldn't do fucking anything, man. I could barely go to work, right? I was still doing the same shit.
yeah,
Right?
like there's no freedom in that, huh?
Yeah, right. And then that's what I started to realize. It was, I was one more fuck up away from ending up like him or being locked up for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, neither one of them are good outcomes.
No, and being there, and I started to think about what it was like for me when I was younger, not being able to see my father for 10 years.
Hmm.
When I was locked up, I couldn't speak to my kids or see them. I missed birthdays, I missed fucking everything, right? So then I started to think about what that would be like, if I was gone for 10 years. And it was just something that I couldn't do to them, right? And it became not so much about me anymore, but about them and who I was and who I needed to be for them.
Yeah. We
Right?
always become that father that we needed.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly that. It's who would I have listened to, right? Would I listen to this drug addict fucking loser? Absolutely not.
So true. What are their ages now?
They are 11 and 8. My daughter will be turning 9 actually in July.
Man, so those are formidable ages. We've got 13 and then 9, 6, and 4. So
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
right in the thick of it. So 11 and 8, 11 and 9, man, those are
Yeah.
the years where you still have them because they'll still listen to you. They're still in your car,
Yeah.
they're still around. So what's
Yeah.
your one of the things that we do, I make sure I take my son to school every morning and so we don't listen to music. We listen to Audible books, whether it's
Mhm.
Tony Robbins or Hormozy on sales, kind of the gambit of things. So that's been a good thing for him. A lot of times kids they don't want to listen to us just yet. So I'm
That's right.
curious if there's any is there things that you're doing daily, weekly, monthly, annually, to make sure you break that cycle, to make sure that you're there for them.
Yeah, I mean, showing them like what is possible through like just my daily actions. We do a lot of reading together. I don't have a TV in my living room. So like when they come over and they always ask me like, "Where's your TV, Dad?" I'm like, "No, we don't." Right? We do a lot of family board games. We go out. I try to just always be present and be with them and spend time with them.
Yeah.
And they watch and see what I do, right? So my daughter will sometimes wake up when I'm, up early in the morning doing my workouts, and she'll come and do her little workouts and stuff with me and stuff like that, right? And
Priceless.
yeah, and it's exactly like you say, like they will always fail to listen to us, but they'll never fail to emulate us.
Yeah.
So, they what they see is what they're gonna do. And, I remember when they were younger and I first got out, my daughter always used to talk about my smoking and my drinking. And there was one thing that really stuck with me, and I think might have been like one of those flip switch moments. My son had this thing from school. It was like a form or whatever, where you write about your dad, right? And you write about the things that you do with him, his favorite this or favorite that. And it's all filled out and it leaves them little blank spaces to fill in. Well, it was like, well, what's your favorite book to read with your dad? His was, my dad doesn't read. What's the favorite thing that you do with your dad? My dad smokes. What's your dad's favorite drink? Beer. And I remember looking at it and I was like, fuck, man. Like
Wow.
this, and like I said, this ain't it, man. This ain't it. And those are one of those moments where I was just, I need to fix this.
Boy, that's a heck of a wake-up call, ain't it?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, he's 11 now, so he would have been like 6, I think, at the time.
Man. And he's just writing the honesty of what he sees.
100%, right? They don't know any better. Like
Mm-mm.
they're not trying to sugarcoat anything or make up anything. It's just literally what he sees every day,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like, I'm reading this thing. I still have it actually. And yeah, it was terrible, man. And that was one of the moments for me where I'm like, no, man, like you can't continue down this road.
You're bigger than this, you're better than that. Man, that's it's so how do you do
Mhm.
that, man? Because you run the gang life, you run the drug life. You obviously were successful, you're obviously intelligent, you were able to be a functioning addict. So the thing that I hear, especially from people behind the walls that are going to see this, is, it's all I've known, Kyle. Like, how do I actually I tell you I want this Japanese koi pond, but I can't go tell the gang members this. I can't get out of this lifestyle. I think it boils
Mhm.
down to fear, but I think, okay, that's maybe an acronym. How do you do that in the real world? How did you do that? How did you leave the bullshit behind, knowing that it's really just you now? You're on your own.
Oh yeah, everybody disappeared. After I left and after I got sober, the people that you think are your friends and your family and that you're so attached to, and like you say, I can't leave this. I'm afraid of this. And you have to. You have to cut every bit of it off. You have to leave every single bit of it, right? Part of my thing is even to get away from it when I was in prison is I put myself in solitaire right away. I just, we had a moment where they came up to me and wanted me to do work. I was like, fuck this, right? And I ended up hitting one of them, hitting one of the guards, knowing full well that I would just go in, right? As soon as you hit a CO, then I put myself in solitaire and it put me away from everybody. And that
Yeah,
allowed me to reassess. And when I came out, I was like, no, fuck this. Like I'm not fucking with this anymore. I'm out of here. Like my priority is seeing my kids and my family. And
yeah,
then you got to stand on that. You have to stand on your family as opposed to standing on your gang, right? Because at the end of the day, they won't do shit for you, right? When push comes to shove, like, when our backs are up against the wall, they ain't gonna do shit. I had people that I'd been, you know, been through a lot of shit, some fucked up shit with for years and years and years. And the second that I decided to get sober and start to take care of my kids, they completely disappeared. Completely disappeared.
Man, it seems like that's the story of gangland. I hear it
Hmm.
100 times a week, inside, nobody hit me on my books, nobody hit me on visitation, nobody took
Yeah.
care of fill in the blank. And what's
Yeah.
interesting is just days, weeks, months ago, they were calling you brother.
100%. These are motherfuckers that I hung out with every single day for like 15 plus years. And the last time I got locked up, it was like 4 or 6 months before they even noticed I was gone. I'm like, what do you fucking mean? Like my dad, I remember talking to my dad on the phone, and he was like, oh yeah, he's like, one of the guys just come by and was like wondering where you're at. I'm like, what do you fucking mean? I'm like, we talk every single day on the fucking cell phone, and all of a sudden I'm gone, and it's been months, and it's like they had nothing, right? Nothing. It was just like you no longer exist. Once you're no longer providing and benefiting from them, then it's over, right? There's no these people aren't your friends. They're not your family. They're people that are in a similar situation to you, and that everybody's justifying their current condition and situation if you're still doing it. It's like, well, I'm not as bad because, Scott's here, Tom's here, we're all getting fucked up together, we're all gang banging together, it's fine, right? I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad, right?
Interesting. I like that. That's a good perspective. And so, how'd you find it inside yourself? I mean, you're just one man on an island. How do you find that inside yourself? What is that? And how can these other people who are listening to this find it for themselves?
I started to look at it as weakness that I didn't need.
Mm,
Like I was looking for other people to validate my existence. And to me, on the outside, when I looked at it objectively, that was weak.
I
I'm
got
like, because we're supposed to be strong, we're supposed to be men, we're supposed to stand on our word and our character and take care of our family. But at the end of the day, I'm doing everything for these motherfuckers,
yep.
right? I need them. I have to do this. Like that was weakness. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like a real man stands on his shit, right? So that's what I started to associate it with weakness and that I needed to be strong. So it's like, we're not hard, we're hurt, right? Inside, I was hurting and I was reaching out for all of this shit and this validation from people that weren't really going to be there for me at the end of the day, anyways,
Wow.
right? There was very few of us when my best friend got murdered. He had a 6 year murder trial, it just ended in, what the hell, back in March. March. Nobody was there. Nobody was there. His family was there. I showed up. Nobody else fucking came, right? And it's like I've known him since I was 16 years old. And all of us hung out together. We all did shit together for years on end. Nobody came. And I was like, and it was a prime example. It's like these motherfuckers ain't shit, right? They're all weak. They're all scared. They're in the same, everybody experiences the same emotions, right? Just on different levels of self-awareness. So they're all your little gang members and all your little buddies are going through the same shit. They don't want to continue to do this. Nobody wants to be locked up for life. Nobody wants to have a death on their hands or witness one of their friends dying, right? We're all just playing this hard image, right? What's hard and what's difficult is sobriety, strength, stepping away, taking care of your family. That shit's hard. What's easy is giving in to the drugs, the dope, the slanging, the gangbang. That's easy as fuck. Everybody does it. Like, look around. There's, hundreds of thousands of people locked up doing that shit because it's the easy route. And that's exactly what I took. I don't have an education, so I'm going to fucking do this. Super easy to sell drugs.
Man, thing that you just said, we're not hard, we're hurt. Man, if that doesn't end up on a t-shirt of yours, that's incredible.
Yeah,
What,
yeah.
man, walk us through that. That's good, man. That's deep. That's
Yeah.
better
And
than this
it's one of
rich,
the,
rich, rare bullshit.
yeah. That's what I heard from one of my mentors, man. And it's the truth. It was one of those things that made me look introspectively at myself. And I'm like, bro, you're just this hurting fucking man, like male, not even a man, right? Men do what's difficult. Men do what's required of them, right? So look at the hard things and the difficult things compared to what you're currently doing right now. Are you taking the easy route? Is it easier to just side with the gang? Is it easier to just keep doing this shit? Then you're taking the bitch route, right? You got to do what's difficult and what's hard, and that's stepping the fuck away, right?
Man. We're not hard, we're hurt. Holy moly, man, that's incredible. The other thing that I loved that you said, I'd love for you to expound on, is motivational consumers.
Oh yeah.
Go on a rant, brother.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see this all the time. Yeah, I just seen another thing on you see it a lot on the internet, man. It's
Man,
people will post shit. They consume all of this fucking information, right? There's tons of it out there, but they never apply any of it to their life, right? They're gonna post quotes. They're gonna talk about shit. They're gonna say this and say that. They're gonna wear their little fucking motivational t-shirts and all that shit. They don't apply anything to their life, right? One of the habits and one of the things that I teach my guys is that daily morning affirmation and reading, and it's always short. It's something short and it's something small. The idea is not to read a marathon of fucking books and be like, yeah, I read fucking 6 chapters today and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, what did you learn and what did you apply to your life? Nothing. You're just on this marathon race to read as much as you can, right? When you're going to read something and you're going to apply it to your life. So I get a lot from Stoic books, a lot from the Stoicism teachings, right? Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, all of that stuff. And you need something that's going to reframe your mindset and something you can apply to your day instantly, right? It's the same way that we train our muscles. That's where the fitness comes in, like hand in hand with all of this, right? In order to grow your muscles, you need to tear them. In order to expand your mind, you need adversity. So you need things that are challenging and difficult, and you need to read about them. You need to actually apply it to your life. So there's too many people that speak in hypotheticals,
oh,
right?
man,
Yeah.
you nailed it. Golly, I'm over
Yeah.
here just chomping at the bit. I spent my most of my life in high stakes finance. And because of that, this new wave of gurus just sets me off. I mean, I was 22, 23 years old, and at the time, over $100 million under management. And when I say that, I say this. I was nobody with 117 million. Nobody, Kyle. And so because of the group that I was in, because of the fund that we worked with, he's currently 11 billion under management. Like, Kyle, I'm nobody at 117. And so today I love to hit people with the show me your tax returns. Show
Mhm.
me your line item. Show me what you're actually doing. Because to your point, if we're just running around with these pithy sayings on our chest and we're running around, don't play leapfrog with unicorns and all this other stupid shit,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, man, like you've got two little ones that have to come out better than you and I. I've got four little ones that have to come out better than I. And none of that is going to happen with pithy sayings.
No, it's words are who you want to be, actions who you are. So you need to look at the results. Like, what are these people doing? What are they doing on a daily basis? Right? Like, I brought my company from 0 to 6 figures. Now I'm selling it. Right? It's results, right? You could talk about shit till you're blue in the fucking face. Nobody's gonna fucking listen to you. It's the same thing with our kids, right? You could tell them over and over again, don't fucking do that, don't do that. Till they touch the hot stove, they're gonna realize that it's fucking hot not to do that.
Don't do that.
And like you've got to apply it to your life and it's got to happen. Like it's hypotheticals hypocritical, right? To talk in these kind of like euphemisms and this what ifs and if I was and if this, it's bullshit. You're just fucking talking, right? Unless you've done it, lived it, and experienced it, then you can't speak on it.
Man, that's the truth. You nailed that on the head. It's all these 19-year-olds running around in a leased BMW and from their mom's
Yeah.
basement talking about, what to do with the next financial investment. It just drives me bonkers, man. I just read this, Warren Buffett just announced that he's retiring. And one thing that I pulled from that at his latest conference is he told people this. He said, as I sit here right now, I'm worth somewhere around $84.5 billion. And he said, I've been doing the same thing for over 6 decades. But I want you to know that 75% of my wealth came in the last decade.
Mhm. Yeah, and
To
that's what people don't realize that success isn't flashy. It's not pretty. It's repetitive motion. You're going to do the same things over and over consistently until you get insanely good at it. And
Yeah.
that's how we get good at shit. but nobody wants to do that, right? They want something that's new every time. They want to switch up. They want to, oh, this is boring. It's like success is boring, motherfucker. You're going to do shit consistently and continually until you excel at it, right? Until you break that level. And that's where everybody gives up, right? Is it, and it ties in again. That's where I go back to the fitness and the nutrition. You need the discipline and the consistency to apply this to your life everywhere. If you can consistently withhold and track your food, if you can consistently go to the gym and discipline yourself and go through all of these boring, repetitive motions and steps and see progress, then you learn like, holy shit, okay, this is what it's going to take to do my business. This is what it's going to take with my relationship. Right. Like I do date nights every Thursday with my partner, right? To ensure that we're constantly there. We're doing something, right? The weekends always for the kids to do shit. I don't miss their soccer games. I don't miss their events, right? Just because I have a business, just because I want to do my personal development doesn't mean I lack in any other areas, right? It's you need the consistency and the discipline so that you don't negotiate with shit anymore. But people want something, oh, when are we going to change my workouts? Oh, when are we going to do this? Like, fucking, we're not, dude. Until you get insanely good at it, like, we're not. Like, it's not going to change. Just like you talked about with Warren, like 75, they have the same shit, right? That's how you get
Over
good at
and
shit.
over and over. I mean, he literally said to his investors, he said, I'm 80, 89 years old. He said, in my lifetime, I've probably owned somewhere between 4 and 500 stocks. And he said, the ones that have made me money, I could probably pin down and name them on both of my hands. It's the same over, and it's 80 years of the gym. It's 60 years of water. It's 40 years of date nights that
Yeah.
get you to this life that you claim that you want that's on your shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. You talk about all of this shit, you post all this motivational bullshit, but you don't apply shit to your life. They post a little shit about, oh, a river cuts through rock because of consistency. It's like, well, fucking do it then. Like, do the same shit every single fucking day over and over again. I had a conversation. One of my clients just hit a year of sobriety. So he's been through the program. He hit a year. He was a big time addict. He owns a electrical company here in town. And I mean, he was making money, but he was pissing it all away. And he's on par to triple his revenue this year alone, just from personal development in the program. And it's like we underestimate what we can accomplish in a year and overestimate what we're going to accomplish in a day. So everybody wants these results like right fucking now. And if they don't happen, oh, then I got to switch something. I got to change something. It's like, dude, just fucking head down and grind it out. And then he's just blown away at how far he's come in a year. And I said, wait till you hit 3, wait till you hit 5, right? You've only done a year and you're on par to triple. Best shape of your life, right? Do this for 3 more years. Do this for 5. And that was part of my epiphany. I just put my head down, I grounded it out. 3 years later, I had this fucking business. It was doing 6 figures. I had 10 employees, bunch of trucks. I had a shop and a warehouse. Like 3 years before that, I was sleeping on an air mattress that deflated on the fucking ground. I had no furniture. I had an ankle monitor on and shit. You know what I mean? Like it's consistency, right? Once you develop and have a system and a plan, it's time, man. It's inevitable, right?
It's a beautiful story, bro. Do you give these guys that plan? Talk to them about, I think sometimes I think sometimes even with like your Instagram handle, having the word fit in it, I think some
Mhm.
people go, oh, he's just going to tell me what to eat and what to drink. But
Mhm.
obviously I know better than that. So walk people through that. Like what is your role in their life and what is your goal for their life?
The goal is to create that 10.0 version of yourself. The goal is to create the best you, right? Is to eliminate all the vices, all the limiting self-belief, all of that bullshit that we put in front of ourselves and create the best you. So it starts with the discipline through the nutrition and the fitness, but I teach them the exact same fitness, the exact same steps, every single thing that I do on a day-to-day basis to get me where I am right now. Everything, right? So I do accountability, I do group calls, we do the whole aspect of it, right? When I started my business, I didn't know shit about business. Like I said, I had no education, I had nothing, right? But once I removed all of the bullshit from my life, then I was able to see clearly. I was able to see opportunities. I was like, holy fuck, if I could do this, this, and this, I can make money. Once I started doing it, right? They don't buy the business, right? They're not buying the product per se. They're buying us,
Yes.
right? So when I showed up to the meetings, when I showed up to the client walkthroughs, I'd already been up for 4 hours. I've already gone to the gym. I've already read, I've already reflected, I've already done my gratitude, right? The rest of these guys are rolling out of bed 15 minutes prior, looking like they combed their hair with a fucking firecracker, right? So of course, like who wants to do business with somebody like that? A guy in his sweatpants with coffee spilled on it, or the guy that's been up for 4 hours and his presence alone just like attracts you to it, right? So that's what I teach them is like you need to create this person that attracts success, that is just a non-negotiable. People vibrate towards you. People are drawn towards you. They ask, "What are you doing? Like, how are you doing this?" Right? And then again, it falls back to the consistency. Every email I answered, every phone call I answered, every client I didn't over fucking deliver and under promise, right? So many of the guys I seen doing that, that they were just hungry for work. They just wanted money, 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 money. So they tell people whatever the fuck they wanted to hear. And I said, no, like I get a phone call that says, "Hey, can your crew be here next week?" I say, no, no, we can't. So we're booking 2 months out. Oh, okay. They'd call back. 9 times out of 10, they would call back 4 or 5 days later and say, "Okay, book us in for 2 months." Right. And it was just everybody knew that I was going to show up the same way every single time. Everybody knew that there was going to be consistency and quality. There was never a question about it. Right. I didn't miss anything. No meetings, no days off. There was no hungover sleep in days. There was none of that shit. Every single day I nailed.
So fantastic. It's such an incredible comeback story, man. You got to shout it from the rooftops. I'm grateful
Yeah,
for this. Talk about one thing that I love that you talk about is you're never gonna be bigger, better, faster, stronger, any different than that man in the mirror.
that's right. Right. And I mean, like I said, it's they buy us, right? It's us that they're looking for. So right now, part of selling the business is doing the consulting because we have our high profile clients that want to make sure that everything's going to go the same way. Right. So it always falls back to us. Right. It's who you are, how your character is, the work that you do behind closed doors, because everybody can feel it. Right. Energy is transferable. Like when you're in a room with a negative person, everybody feels that shit, right? So if you can flip that the opposite, if you can be that positive, confident, abundant person that just exudes success, love, gratitude, right? People are drawn towards that because we all want the same thing, right? We all want to feel comfortable in our skin. We all want to be successful. We all want to spend time with our family, right? We all want that. Right. So we can also tell what goes on behind closed doors. We can tell the people that are just putting on a show. We can tell the people that are putting on that facade. And that was one of the things I realized when I got into business is because you have this preconceived idea that all these people know something that you don't know. They're doing something that like, how the fuck am I going to get in there? How am I going to compete with these guys? Once I got in, I was like, holy shit, most of these guys are faking it. Most of these guys are barely getting by. If I just stay consistently and do this, this, and this over time, I'm just going to just gradually pass them all. And that's what happened, man. I had companies here that have been here for 10 years, 20 years, and I was competing with them within the first two and beating them on jobs, right? And it's that man that you create. It will always fall down to who you become, right? It's not how, it's who. So many people are focused, and another thing that my mentor taught me, so many people are focused on this appearing and acquiring over being and becoming. You
Mhm.
need to become the man that attracts success, right? That no longer negotiates with the shit that needs to get done.
What's the difference between appearing and acquiring and the becoming?
Appearing and acquiring is what I did back in my old life. That was the gang life. So I'm going to get a bunch of money. I'm going to get people around me. I'm going to get the women around me, and I'm going to appear successful. Inside, I fucking hate myself, right? Because I'm doing a bunch of shit that I don't like. Now I have become that, right? I don't need to do anything. I don't need to hide from anything. I don't need to tell any stories. I have, a brand new condo downtown. I get to fucking live my life on my terms. I get to help people. I make money, right? I'm now selling my business, right? I had 3 trucks. I'm looking at buying a new one now. Like it's all of the things that I tried to appear to have now are just a byproduct of the man that I've become, right? Once we become a useful person and a useful member to our society and our people, the money is a byproduct, right? Of just being useful and helpful.
Man, that's so good. That's so good. So everybody who's listening to this, where do they find you? And walk through the stuck points. I don't want anybody to focus on one particular area. You know, what's the gambit of things that you'll be able to help them with?
So I help everybody from whether you're stuck with your vices, right? Whether it's in alcohol, whether it's drinking, smoking, overeating, I get rid of all of that. All of my clients, it's non-negotiable. We no longer partake in things in the excess of pleasure, right? And then any guys that same thing as I am, an entrepreneur or a father, so it's finding that time. Everybody talks about time. I don't have time for the gym. I don't have time for this. To me, to say that you don't have enough time is to say that you don't want it bad enough, right? So we all have the same 24 hours in the day, right? I had to stay up late last night working, doing a few things. I was up till 11. I was still up at 3:15. I was still in the gym by 5. I still did all of my stuff, right? The one thing you can count on with life is transformation. Nothing is going to stay the same. Everything will change, right? So this way of life won't be forever, but it's necessary now to grind out to get me to where I want to go, right? And that's what most people won't do. So the stuck is ourselves. We put a limiting belief and our opinion on life. So I help people change their opinion. Once you can change your opinion, you can change your whole life. So finding every area specific to each individual, like I said, whether it's your vices, whether it's managing the business in your family, whether it's fitting in the fitness and the nutrition, it all ties together. Every little bit of it counts, right? The reading, the journaling, the reflection, the gratitude, faith, all of that matters, right? You need to create discipline because the way that we do anything is the way that we do everything. So if you're lying to yourself, if you're skipping on the things that you tell yourself you want to do, you're going to do the same thing in business. You're going to do the same thing with your partner. You're going to do the same thing with your fucking kids, right? Because at the end of the day, who's with you all the time? You are. So if you're lying to yourself consistently, you sure as fuck are going to lie to the rest of them, right? And like I said, that's another one of those energy transfers. So getting through all of that, it's retraining the pathways in our brain, right? We go to comfort every time.
Yeah,
So I went to the drugs, I went to the gang life, I went to what was easy and comfortable every single time,
yeah.
right? This is an easy way to make money. This is an easy way to forget my problems. This is an easy way to get through this, whatever, this experience, right? But so getting through that and applying tools and having tools, right? One of my favorite things is we will never rise to the strength of our goals. We will fall to the strength of our system. So it's creating a system for each individual that when shit happens, and it's going to, life's coming, that you have something to fall back on. You have a system that is okay, this happened. I'm just going to do this and this and this until I get through it. Right.
I love it, man. I love it. Take these guys and gals out, through what do you speak into them? Life, purpose, what's your hope for changing the world? What's your hope for them listening to this? We'll put all of your contact information here so that they can reach out to you. And I'm hopeful that
Yeah.
they do. But how do you speak life into somebody who's in the darkest place right now?
How do you speak life into it? That it's up to you, that you're worth so much more than you think right now. Your abilities right now are greater than you could ever imagine, right? Your only limitation is your belief in yourself. And my job as a coach is to believe in them more than their lack of belief in them, right? So a real leader isn't going to tell you what to do. I'm going to show you where to look. So where to look is going to be inside of you and the things that you need to do. We all have points and lessons that we need to learn in our life, and that we're going to continue to learn them until we do. But it's us. Every single time it's us. So the strength is within you. And everything that you need to get through what you're going through right now is inside of you.
Man, I love everything about that. I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah.
You are an individual that I hope and I pray will continue to crush it, man. I really, really appreciate what you put out in the world.
Thank you, Travis. I appreciate that.
Man, likewise, brother. Thank you for your time. A boatload of gratitude, brother.
Absolutely. Have a blessed day.
Likewise.